It's over, guys. The season is finally over. One we would like to put behind us and look out into the future. Now, I'm going to do a whole video in the coming days on what the Bulls should do with their $65 million in cap space, with some in-depth mechanics on the cap and the options the Bulls are going to have available to them. But the good news that we got today, and the Bulls closing out the season in what I would say was a surprising loss, given the Mavs, a win for them would hurt their lottery odds and would make them tied with the New Orleans Pelicans. But with the Bulls losing this game, they secured the 9th best lottery odds, which will give them a 20.3% chance at moving into the top 4 and a 4.5% chance at the number 1 pick. If the Bulls had won today, they would have tied actually with the Bucks and would have had to split those odds between them and would have had to go through that coin flip scenario to determine who would finish with the pre-draft position of 9th and 10th. So this was good. This was a good news day if you're a Bulls fan, because not only did the Bulls secure that extra 6% points to move up into the top 4, but the Blazers also won tonight and finished with the 8th seed in the Western Conference, which means they now have 2 opportunities to make their way into the playoffs. They'll first play the Suns in the 7-8 matchup. If they win that game, they're in and will have the 7th seed. If they lose, they face the winner of the Clippers-Warriors 9-10 matchup to try and get one more crack at making the playoffs. And the reason I say that's good news for the Bulls is because the Blazers, if they make the playoffs, they're getting, meaning the Bulls, are getting the Blazers pick that's been owed to them as part of the Lowry Markkanen sign and trade deal that was made all those years ago. And given the Blazers would have the worst record of any playoff team should they make it, that means the Blazers will be sending the Bulls the 15th pick in this draft. Man, imagine the Bulls get the number 1 pick and the 15th pick in this stacked draft. Hell, I'll even take the number 9 and 15th pick at this point. That's good enough for me. The Bulls are more or less guaranteed a top 10 pick, though, after this loss tonight. There is only a 3.1% chance of that pick falling outside of the top 10. I'll actually put up this chart from Tankathon that gives the percent chance for each of the respective picks. The Bulls cannot fall anywhere between 5 and 9, as the lottery drawing only determines the top 4, but it's important to note that they have a 50.8% chance of staying at number 9 and a 25.9% chance of falling to number 10. Very unlikely they would fall any lower than that. Now it's just a matter of, hey, fingers crossed, hope you get lucky, and hope that throwing away your entire roster for pennies on the dollar was worth it. But anyway, I realize I haven't said anything about this final game of the season. First of all, hate to see Cooper Flagg go down like that, landing awkwardly on his ankle, similar to what we saw from Modest Bucelis in the game against the Magic. Flagg would not return after that fall. Looks like he's going to be okay, as he was able to walk off the court on his own, but seeing that happen to such a bright young prospect on the final game of the year is very rough, especially if you're the Dallas Mavericks. But aside from that, I mean, yeah, it was good to see the Mavs finally decide to come out and play and get hot from the 3-point line when the Bulls needed a clutch loss like this. Mavs made 22 threes in this game, 22 for 49 from behind the arc. You had guys out there I had never heard of lighting the Bulls up. Even old man Klay Thompson was getting in on the action. Ryan Nembhard, dude, had 23 assists in this game. Just absolutely insane. I mean, let's be real. This is very reminiscent to an exhibition game, if there ever was one, because you saw some insane things happening on the Bulls side as well. Lachlan Olbrich put up a triple-double. Lachlan Olbrich, the Bulls' 55th pick in the draft from this past year. Definitely did not have that on my bingo card going into the season, that he would be getting a triple-double. Holy cow, 10 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. I was thinking to myself watching this game too, Olbrich's been making some nice passes, but there's no way he's approaching double figures in assists. There's just no way. Only 1 turnover for Olbrich as well. I mean, again, you're going up against a borderline G League level Mavs team, so I wouldn't say the competition was especially fierce, but anytime you're able to get a triple-double in an NBA game, regardless of the competition, is still impressive, especially for a player that was taken so late in the draft. Yuki had 14 points. That was a new career high for him, was knocking down some deep threes. Rob Dillingham, the Dillingham up and down roller coaster continues. Tonight we caught him on one of his good games, 25 points on efficient scoring, I might add. 11 for 18 overall, was 10 for 13 on twos. Most of his misses came from deep. 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Did have 5 turnovers though. I still have my doubts about Dillingham and whether he's going to be a viable rotational player. But if he's slowly but surely able to get his confidence back up, work on his turnovers, work on getting stronger in the offseason, improving his court vision, working on that jump shot, of course, the Bulls could have a reliable backup point guard on their hands that they can potentially work with. Leonard Miller, once again, another solid outing, 17 points on 8 for 12 shooting, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. You know, I keep saying, well, I got to see this kid play when it's not meaningless basketball. We need to see him in highly competitive games and putting up these kind of numbers, this kind of production consistently. And while yes, all that still remains true, but then I see Patrick Williams next to him, who even when there's virtually no pressure to perform and you're playing against lesser talent, he still goes 5 for 15 on 2 for 9 from 3, unable to get rebounds and still turning the ball over. Pat did have 5 assists though, good for him on that. His passing has gotten a lot better these past few games. But yeah, man, you know, I look at Pat and then I realize, regardless of how impactful these games may or may not be, Leonard Miller has been outplaying him. And quite frankly, it's not even close. So yeah, I am going to go ahead and be excited about Miller's future. Man, I was glad Billy Donovan pulled Trey Jones out of this game as well. He only had 19 minutes in this one. Around the second quarter or so, when the Bulls started coming back after going down 20 early, I tweeted, Billy's got to take Trey out because he could accidentally help the Bulls with this game and win somehow. Not that Jones had an especially good game, but his IQ and savviness could have put the Bulls in a position where it could have made the game very interesting. And with the Bulls really finding themselves down early, they kind of had to take advantage of that. When it's now just one game left on this season to actually secure the 9th best odds and give you 6% better odds of landing into the top 4. But anyway, we did get to hear from Billy Donovan after the game with the media. He didn't share much about his future with the team other than the fact that he would be sitting down with ownership this week. Sounds like it will not be tomorrow, as he has some stuff scheduled with the players, but I'm sure we'll know more on whether Billy intends to stay in Chicago by the end of this upcoming week. I've seen and heard some things floating around that most signs are pointing to Billy actually leaving, but I don't know. I'll believe that when I see it. Anyway, that is a wrap for this season. The 25-26 season is in the books. Can't say it was a memorable one, but with leadership change, hopefully we'll start seeing the Bulls get on the right track and back to relevance again. Not that I'm going to be going anywhere, as the offseason is usually when things really start picking up from a content perspective, but I just wanted to thank you all for your support and riding with me throughout the year. Sometimes we call this space Bulls Group Therapy. It really has become like one. We're all in this together, and again, I just cannot thank you guys enough for all the love and support that you've shown on the channel throughout this entire year. And so appreciate you guys. Of course, as always, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.